Hi guys, do you like my new bow tie? Anyway, right. So you may have seen one of my old rants in the past about the stupid things that those dickheads who call themselves bus drivers do on our bus when when people decide to play with the stopping bell. Well, after what happened on Monday when the bus driver refused to move until it stopped, and then eventually the college deputy principal came down and all that. After that incident, we're all pretty fed up of it, and it's just got worse. We hadn't even left, though, and the driver was so pissed off with it, he stood up and then he proceeded to say, okay. He said, okay, everyone listen up. Who the fuck is pressing the buzzer? He's pressing the buzzer. What's that? He actually stood up and he actually said, who the fuck is pressing the buzzer? And then after that, he said to us that, he then said that if we pressed it again, just once, one chance, and if we blew it, then the only stops that he would stop at, he would only stop at the bottom of Horseby Avenue, bottom of Spinnaker, which is Hicks Close, and then at the end at Navigation. That's it. Those 3 stops. Nowhere else. And so then we get to and we go straight onto the motorway, and of course someone presses it and we blew it. And so of course when the driver starts going past all of these stops, goes past the first 2 stops, and then one student, a friend of mine, who for privacy reasons I'm not going to name, he basically shouted out to the driver, stop the fucking bus, you fucking retard. And the driver pulled in, and he made this student come up to the front of the bus, and then he basically said to the student, what did you say? Hey? And then the student replied, stop the bus. I said, stop the bus. To which the driver replied with, why? And he then proceeded to interrupt the student, and then put his hands on his shoulders like that, which is manhandling, which is manhandling. So the driver manhandled the student, and then he said that, look, I don't give a shit, okay? He basically just said, look, I don't give a shit. It's not your job. It's not your job to decide where he stopped. It's your job to find out who. It's your job to find out who the fuck is pressing the buzzer. So after that, he then opened the doors. And the student was kicked out of the bus. Later on, and other students on the bus, was just that, including me, because I was right next to him. I was like 1 seat away from him at the time. And this driver, he was quite big and quite scary and intimidating and quite a large voice. There was a stunned silence on the bus. Everybody was scared shitless, and in fact, after it happened, there were a ton of people who asked the driver to open the doors to let them off, and he did, thankfully. But most of them needed to get off of the bus anyway. But I think some of them were just scared shitless. So, but then what happened is that, so we then continued on, and he stopped at one stop when the students asked to be let off, and then when we came to Hicks Close, like he said, he then told me. Now this was the stop I was going to get off at and walk the rest of the way. He then told me to stay on the bus because he actually trusted me, and because he's driven our bus a few times before, so he trusts me, and so he said that he's going to drop me round the corner at my stop. So which he did, and then at which point a couple of other students, and they were saying that it wasn't fair. So then the driver then agreed to stop at the rest of the stops which was the right thing, which in the end was the right thing for him to do. I mean, because it's not fair for him to just go. It's not fair for him to just pick on me and just say that he trusts me and that I can get off where I want to go and fuck everyone else. Else they can walk home. Fuck them. And so yeah. Then, but when I got off, I questioned him about what he'd done, and then he proceeded to ask me what my problem was. No. He then said to me, "Oh, what's your problem, mate?" No. Because when he kicked the student out of the bus, he made the gesture of this as if he was pushing him, and I had mistaken that. I thought that he'd pushed him out. And then the driver then clearly proceeded to say to me that, "Oh, what's your problem? If I had pushed him out, he'd been flat on the floor, and he was a bit nasty about that." But I said a couple more things, and I managed to keep the peace with him. And then he just smiled and said, "Oh, all right." But he really was quite intimidating. And it's like that, and I myself was imitated, as well as many others. And so it's like, if he can't drive this damn bus properly, then why is he driving a school bus? If this is how he's going to treat students, he's intimidating them, he's manhandling them, right? By putting their hands on his shoulders, and then he's throwing them off the bus for saying something. It's students shout things on buses all the time. They say all sorts of crap. And sometimes they even say to drivers, but drivers don't give a crap. But I must admit, he did deserve to be thrown off the bus, and in fact, I'd have probably thrown him off the bus, or I would at least given him a stern telling off. But he didn't deserve to be thrown off rudely. He did not deserve to be manhandled. He did not deserve to be shouted at, and he certainly did not deserve to be manhandled. And he certainly did not deserve to be sworn at. And it's like, there's one student being cocky, and it just makes me want to go, bro, look, mate, just calm down. He's just some random student. Don't take what he says to heart. But then again, I suppose on the other hand that he needs to learn a jolly good lesson. I suppose. I suppose that I say that the driver was right to throw him off of the bus. But the appropriate way to deal with this is just say, come here. Is that when you call him up to the front of the bus, you don't do what this driver did, which is manhandle them and say all this shit to them. What you actually have to, what the proper way to do is basically say, look, if you don't like it, you take it up with the bus company. It's not my problem. But you don't speak to me like that. You don't speak to me like that. So you're out of here, buddy. Get out. It's basically what I would say. Or, and then I would just send them out. You don't make the gesture of pushing them out, and you certainly don't intimidate students. A lot of the students students were quite scared. And I've had somebody message me on Facebook saying that that he didn't like what happened either, and he was in the seat on the other side of the aisle near me, and it certainly was not funny. Oh, bloody Facebook. So yeah, to put it this way, a driver needs to get his act together, and it's like, he can't just do that. You can't just go around treating students like that. And it's like, just because a student treats you that way doesn't mean that you have to turn it around. Doesn't mean that you have to turn it around and make it that way. In fact, that's what the driver said to me. It's the other thing that the driver said to me. Because when the driver said something to me, he then proceeded to tell me that I was in the wrong, to dispute what he'd done because apparently it's wrong for me to turn it round against him when he can't handle the job properly. Well, I mean, no shit. If he can't handle a troublesome student properly, well then of course I'm going to turn it round on him. But I'm not turning the situation round on him. I'm not blaming him. I'm just. It's basically, I'm just saying to him that that he is in the wrong. In fact, I've got the message here, because the student who I got the message from, he said here, I'm not happy with my bus company right now. Are you? Student A did deserve to be thrown off the bus, but he could have been less rudely thrown off. Now, by that, it's not actually the bus company's problem. It's the driver, because it's not just the bus company; it's the driver. So the thing is, it's just that, well, yeah. I mean, I know I'm starting to repeat myself here, but how the hell can you do that? Do that to a student, to a teenager, or even to any person? It is just the stupidest and most wrong thing I've ever seen. So please leave your comments and thoughts on this, and feel free to leave a video response or something. And feel free, or if you don't want to say it, then feel free to send me a message. But make sure it's positive, because the comments will be on approve for this video. And the other thing is the intro. I just want to tell you now, yes, I have changed the intro. There's a reason for that. Because people would laugh the hell out of my previous intro. And I just feel that it was taking away the main point of the video. People were just focusing more on the intro than they were on the content of the actual video. And that's what I want. The content of the video needs to come first. Now, I don't want any moaning or complaining, because to be quite frank, the old video with the old intro is still up on YouTube. So if you don't like it, then don't come crying to me. Just get onto my channel and go and find the old video, because I'm not going to do it for you. I'm not going to put up the intro just because you want to see it. The intro is not the most important thing of the episodes. So that is for those of you, particularly my college friends, who have been complaining that I'm going to change the intro. That is why. No exceptions, no moaning, no whinging to me. It is all because I don't want people to just waste their time focusing on the intro when the main content of the video is supposed to be the main point of me making these videos. Okay, and on that note, that's it, and I'll see you next time.